AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. What profession is the most misunderstood? Doctors. I see so many young people watch shows like Grey's Anatomy and think that's how being a doctor is. Maids or cleaning services. They can very much make bank and are very strong, respectable people in my opinion. The pharmacy profession. In the retail setting, they see hundreds of people daily who are at their worst. Sick, confused, anxious, etc. They help these people by billing insurance, and sometimes the patient has no idea their medical and RX insurances are separate. The pharmacist has to check for drug allergies, reactions, and other risks. The phone rings all damn day. They attempt to reach your doctor who may have no idea who you are. They're on a limited budget, and they do their jobs with a smile on their faces. You ever go pick up your meds and see the staff just sitting around on their phones? No, because they are working their butts off for a thankless public. You think they just put some pills in a bottle and upcharge you? Change your perspective. Be better. Corrections officers. We're treated like absolute crap when most of us are just trying to get through the day. I've had piss and poo thrown at me. I've been spit on and punched and kicked in the face. I've worked 20+ hour shifts because the facility is so short staffed. I've been doused in pepper spray during a riot. I've witnessed a murder and many attempted murders. I've tried to resuscitate a suicide attempt and failed. The list goes on and on. It's a brutal grind for a profession and we're very misunderstood. Retail. It is not easy. I was a welder and quit to go to college. Figured I'd get me an easy peasy retail job in a ponic egg. That was the hardest job I've ever done. I was absolutely hobbled at the end of the day, and it paid way less. My dad was right. The less you get paid, the more they expect from you. Nurses. The disturbing amount of actual human crap they have to clean up is not well documented in hospital shows. Social workers. Everyone thinks they take kids away from parents. A few do, and those kids needed to be rescued. But they do so much more. Social work in schools, hospitals, nursing homes, you name it. They find homes for veterans and provide psychotherapy for all ages. They help prevent suicide and pregnancy. They are the ones who support the first responders. They are the last ones standing. But they never get the credit they truly deserve. Lawyers, teachers and police officers. If people have any belief that television is representative, teacher here. On television, they show teachers having these small, amazing classes. It starts off with one student being a tad bit rebellious, but after a small while, the teacher wins them over by getting an extra job and really dedicating all the time and efforts on them. Hell no. After my day of teaching classes of about 40 students each, I have nothing in me to go have a second job. And I need to put in a formal application with my current employer if I want to make a second income. And kids don't suddenly become inspired. It takes years for them to change from little monsters to young adults. Teaching. So many people think it's just standing in front of a class and telling them things, then going home at 3 to put your feet up. They don't understand the work that goes into programming, designing interactive lessons, developing learning plans and strategies for each child, let alone dealing with different behavioral issues and generally managing a room full of kids. Oh yeah, and the admin work and parents. Custodians and janitors. Everyone out there cleaning up society's mess in the middle of the night for meager pay are the real heroes. Always be nice to janitors and give them a friendly hello. They're the best people. Been working as a high school custodian on midnight 6 months. We're rather lucky as the pay is good and full benefits with plenty of added pay raises per year, sick, personal, and vacation days. But we deal with equipment that has issues as they're sometimes as old as 15 years old. And sometimes the amount of things you hear like, why are you complaining about cleaning things, it's your job. No, I clean things, but if it's larger amount than normal or someone making a mess as a joke on someone, they'll never see it's not cool. Fast food. It's always seen as simple and easy, but even going to places like McDonald's and KFC I can see how nitpicky customers can be. Rude customers, being yelled at when you forget one item, being bitches at when you forget one fine item. Hell, I went through a Panda Express drive-thru with my grandma once and she bitched the whole way home about how the employee at the window didn't smile. Maybe I just don't understand how it works. Maybe not most, but there's a lot of people who think archaeology is breaking into an ancient ruin of some kind and robbing the shit out of it. Which in a bad scenario, it is, but still. Because Indiana Jones. Librarians. The stereotype is the librarian in a cardigan who shushes everyone and does nothing but sit at the counter reading. My people are working hard to keep the cardigan alive. But being a librarian is far from a boring job. It depends if you work in a public or academic library how loud it can get. It is usually quieter in academic libraries, but there is always work in both kind of libraries. The stuff our users see us do is circulation desk, information desk and shelving plus events. But in the background is a lot going on. Cataloging, metadata, new updates to cataloging rules that need to be implemented, constant change of the library software, trying to improve services, building new services, organizing events, repairing books, getting journals bound, digitizing old editions, deciding where to categorize books, finding subject headings and keywords to describe the content, courses for different groups, looking for new book releases, licensing ebooks and online learning resources, tech support if the printer does not work, information literacy events for different age groups, open access initiatives and department in academic libraries, also thesis department, interlibrary loan, acquiring funds, etc. Feel free to add to the tasks I forgot, because there is a lot. To that libraries, especially public ones, tend to get their budgets cut and have to work with the little resource they have got to make information accessible to everyone in their area. Librarians are not dusty old ladies in cardigans anymore. Knowledge of how databases work and how different information is stored and made accessible is essential. The counter is usually the only quiet time in my day, in an academic library. The library is about much more than books. It is a community hub and one of few places you can just visit without having to pay to enter. People with different needs and views meet here. Librarians help to create and sustain the space and try to meet the need of the visitors. That said, support your local library. Everyone in the veterinary medicine industry. The amount of verbal abuse we get on a daily basis is insane. Because of this, veterinarians have one of the highest rates of suicide of any profession. To make things worse, everyone sees the amazing Dr. Paul and thinks that is what a good DVM is. We can't figure out how he still has his license. Just about everything he does is either not standard of care or malpractice. I keep trying write what people do not understand, but it ends up being an essay. The TLDR is that it is not just playing with puppies. We see death and suffering on a daily basis, so much so that compassion fatigue is common. On top of that, we make almost nothing. Most support staff is making around minimum wage, and that is with an education and state credentialing. Kitchen workers. I am a dishwasher and I am solely responsible for cleaning around 35% of the restaurant. Cleaning the floors in the back, cleaning the prep stations, washing the rubber mats by the dish pit. Going out to the front in people's way as I retrieve dozens of heavy pots and pans. I have to start closing around 5 hours before we actually close. I am entitled to a 30-minute break after 5 hours of working, yet I can't take a 30-minute break in any feasible way because, in my experience as dishwasher, I have never had the time to just sit around. I've been working there for almost a year and I still don't have the Wi-Fi password because I have never, not once, had the time to go on my phone and sit around. I am 17 years old with back pain. Many members of kitchen staff are in the same position. Doing this after school doesn't help. Working in a kitchen is among the most fast-paced, mentally and physically draining jobs. I've been asked to be a host and serve food, and in between serving, I'd go back to run another rack through the sanitizer. Then grab the dirty pans, wait more tables, while trying to do my closing duties at the same time. Waking up at 7 AM. Then coming home anywhere from 10 to 12 is not a thrilling existence, especially for minimum wage, but customers have the capability to either make our days better or a lot worse. It's not hard to be a decent human being. But people never fail to amaze me in new ways they can disrespect staff. We are not pawns. We feel emotion and are deserved to be treated with respect, as are you. Kitchen staff, regardless of position or age, have a ridiculous amount of responsibility and stress. It is a system with many moving parts. Everyone relies on everyone to do their job effectively and quickly. If not, it all falls apart. So next time something wasn't right about your meal, or your customer service was poor, maybe try to talk about it in a considerate manner. Screaming or making a scene is not a very progressive way to approach the situation. This BS mentality of the customer is always right really pisses me off. Just because you paid money does not mean you are entitled to treat people like crap. You can get your desired outcome without acting like a f***ing child. Auto mechanics and technicians. I could write a book on how auto repair should be reformed. But basically, crappy mechanics ruin the perception of all mechanics. There are way more shitty mechanics because it does not require any sort of license or schooling to work as a mechanic or open an auto repair shop. Therefore the industry is super cutthroat and prices have to be cheap to stay in business. Because Joe Schmo down the street will slap your $15 set of brake pads on your car for $50. But when they make noise you want to bring it to real shop and then complain about a diagnostic fee. This also makes it harder to employ good mechanics because you can't afford to pay them 80 grand plus a year, although the good ones deserve it. These mechanics also have about 50 grand worth of toolbox, cart and all the tools required to fix the 10,000 different problems you might have with your car, and the shop needs to have lifts and alignment machines and diagnostic scanners, presses, engine cradles, pipe benders, welders and so on and so on. All the while you, the customer, want to show up at noon, wait around the shop asking a metric ton of questions, and when it takes more than 2 hours you want to know why? Well, first of all, I've been open for 4 hours already and all the people who showed up before you take priority. Secondly, your effing 08ness and Sentra was manufactured with 4 different size brakes and they're only different by a effing millimeter, so that slowed me down. Thirdly, your brakes haven't been done in 3 years and your caliper slide pins were frozen, so I had to use a torch to heat them all up and try to get them out, because if they break it will cost you more money and me more time. Fourthly, the dumb F that gets paid $12 an hour at the parts store was supposed to deliver part number XYZ and he brought me XYA. Then you have the FN balls to ask me why I'm not open on Saturday and Sunday. I don't even remember the question. Is that an American thing? Because in Australia you must complete an apprenticeship. Anywhere else just allow any Bob or Jane to work on a piece of equipment that could be deadly if not done correctly. I don't know if it's just us or not, but there are courses you can take, certifications you can get and all that, but you don't have to have any of it. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. Have a nice evening. Kitos.